Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, Israel expands ground operations and strikes on Hamas infrastructure in Gaza. Egypt puts forward framework proposal to end the conflict. West condemns Iran over IAEA claims that it increased enriched uranium production. And in sports, South Africa beat India by an innings and 32 runs in the first test match at Centurion, lead the series 1-0. Let's begin by getting you an update on Israel-Hamas conflict. Israel's military has expanded its ground offensive in central and south Gaza, targeting terror group Hamas. The Israeli army released video footage and still photographs on Thursday. It says shows ground operations and strikes on Hamas infrastructure in Gaza. Israel says it will not halt its ground campaign in Gaza until it annihilates the Hamas movement, which controls the enclave. Egypt confirmed on Thursday that it had put forward a framework proposal to end the conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. Chairman of Egypt's State Information Service in a statement said the framework, which includes 3 successive and linked stages ending with a ceasefire, was drafted after Egypt listened to the views of all the parties concerned with it. The statement also mentions that Egypt would give further details of the plan once those responses are received. A new UN report expressed concerns over the human rights situation in Gaza. DD India correspondent William Denslow reports from UN headquarters in New York.
The United Nations Palestinian Refugee Agency, UNRWA, warned Thursday that people in Gaza are grappling with catastrophic hunger. The UN agency's reiterated calls for a humanitarian ceasefire so more aid can enter the Palestinian enclave. Meanwhile, the UN's High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, says Israel's use of military tactics in the West Bank is extremely troubling. Hamas killed around 1,200 people in a surprise attack that day, and Israel says it won't end its subsequent military assault until the group is defeated. Turk also raised concerns about settler violence against Palestinian communities. He says such incidents are being recorded on average 6 times a day. An Israeli official has described the UN report as quite ridiculous and belittles the major security threats Israelis are facing. Also on Thursday, the UN Secretary-General provided his end-of-year address, and it was a bleak summary of the past 12 months. Antonio Guterres said 2023 has been a year of enormous suffering, violence and climate chaos. He says 2024 must be a year for restoring hope and rebuilding trust around the globe. William Denslow in New York, reporting for DD India.
In Israel, thousands of teenagers took part in a march in an effort to press the Israeli government and the international community to demand the release of the hostages. The young Israelis have marched from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem for the past 5 days for the release of hostages still being held by Hamas. Many of the demonstrators were from communities worst affected by the 7th October attacks. The Russian and Ukrainian armies continued to exchange fire on Thursday, with each claiming to have hit the other's military targets, according to the latest battle reports of the two sides. Russia said its forces had repelled multiple attacks from Ukraine in the directions of Kharkiv and Donetsk region, striking Ukrainian ammunition depots. The Russian Air Defense Forces shot down 2 Ukrainian Su-25 aircraft and intercepted multiple Ukrainian rockets and drones. Meanwhile, Ukraine claimed its air force carried out airstrikes on Russian air defense systems and its rocket forces hit Russian ammunition depots and artillery systems. A fire broke out at a multi-storied building in the Black Sea port city of Odessa late on Thursday after drones were reported to be headed for the area, local authorities said. A high-rise building in Odessa was damaged by a downed drone, Regional Governor Oleg Hyper reported. He said information about casualties was being verified and urged people to stay in shelters amid an ongoing drone attack. A Panama-flagged bulk carrier has been hit by a Russian mine in the Black Sea, injuring 2 crew members, Ukrainian officials said on Thursday. The vessel, the Vyazov, was heading to River Danube port to load grain. According to Ukraine's Southern Military Command, the vessel lost course and control, and a fire broke out on the upper deck. The incident that took place on Wednesday was the latest instance of a civilian vessel hitting an explosive in the Black Sea. Ukraine says Moscow has increased attacks on Ukraine's port infrastructure since mid-July, when it quit a UN brokered deal that allowed safe passage of Ukrainian grain shipments via the Black Sea. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he discussed Ukraine's peace formula in a call with Pope Francis on Thursday. Zelensky said that he thanked Pope Francis for his Christmas greetings as well as his wishes for a just peace for all of us.
We discussed our joint work to put Ukraine's peace formula into action. Over 80 countries are already involved in this process at the level of their representatives, and there will be more of them.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Thursday that Ukraine's alternative Black Sea export corridor had sent out 12 million tons of cargo so far. In his nightly video address on Thursday, Ukrainian president said that the corridor had produced particularly significant results in December.
The functioning of our export corridor in Black Sea, over 12 million tons of cargo have already been handled. The results in December are particularly remarkable, and this is felt at the level of our entire economy.
Ukraine and Hungary are preparing a meeting of President Volodymyr Zelensky and Prime Minister Viktor Orban in the near future, the Ukrainian president's chief of staff said on Thursday, amid recent steps by Hungary that have soured the ties. Earlier this month, all European Union states except Hungary agreed to start accession talks with Ukraine. The bloc's leaders bypassed Orban's opposition by getting him to leave the room when the decision was made. Chief of Staff Andriy Yermak made his remarks following a productive phone call with Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó. He added that Ukraine's progress on the path of European integration was also discussed. Orban later confirmed he had accepted an invitation to meet. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres delivered his New Year address in a pre-recorded speech. In his speech, the UN chief talked about the outgoing year and its shortcomings while evoking hope for the upcoming new year. The Western powers on Thursday condemned Iran accelerating its production of highly enriched uranium following the IAEA report earlier this week. In a joint statement, Britain, France, Germany and the United States said that they condemn this measure that further aggravates the continued escalation of the Iranian nuclear program, adding that they urge Iran to immediately reverse these steps and de-escalate its nuclear program. The spokespersons for the countries also said that Iran had increased its output of 60% enriched uranium to a rate of about 9 kilograms a month since the end of November. The statement came 2 days after the International Atomic Energy Agency released a report saying Iran increased its production of highly enriched uranium, reversing the previous output reduction from mid-2023. After high-level meetings earlier this week between U.S. and Mexican officials regarding the issue of migrants crossing over into the U.S., both U.S. and Mexico have agreed to enact plans that will help curb the unprecedented migrant inflow. The meeting followed the visit of U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, where both the countries discussed extensively on the border security challenges, including actions to reopen the key ports of entry across the shared borders. Both nations also agreed upon seeking cooperation from neighbors including Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua and Haiti in an effort to tackle the root cause of migration.
Hay más movimiento en la frontera.
The relationship with US President Joe Biden is really good. He is very respectful of Mexico. There are no threats of sanctions towards Mexico. He understands migration is a phenomena related to poverty, that this is a social problem.
Argentina's most influential workers' unions on Thursday called for a national strike next month over President Javier Milei's reforms aimed at liberalizing the country's economy. The General Confederation of Labour, that is CGT, said that the strike on January 24th was in protest against a decree and package of bills announced by Milei, which go against all of society and give the president all public power. In a statement, the CGT, which brings together several powerful unions in the South American country, presented its fighting plan. Members, the statement said, will request meetings with lawmakers who are due to discuss the bill in extraordinary sessions scheduled through January 31st to propose the amendments. Earlier, thousands of people poured onto the streets of Buenos Aires and other cities across Argentina, and at least 6 people were detained during the protests. Demonstrators said these measures attempted against their basic social rights and wages. At the same time, Milei presented more measures to Congress that included reforms in tax, labor, criminal, energy and electoral matters. Congo's main observer mission reported irregularities related to last week's presidential and legislative elections that could impact election results. The independent joint vote monitoring mission of Congo's powerful Catholic Church and its Protestant Church spoke about 5,402 reports of incidents at the polling stations, over 60% of which interrupted voting, while also questioning Senate Election Commission's decision to extend voting beyond December 20th. Provisional results issued so far show President Felix Tshisekedi leading the results. In another jolt to former US President Donald Trump, Maine's top election official barred Donald Trump from the state's primary election ballot, the second state to block the former president's bid for re-election based on claims that his efforts to remain in power after the 2020 election rendered him ineligible. The Maine decision builds on the momentum that Trump's critics have claimed after the Colorado ruling. Before Colorado, several other states rejected similar efforts. Meanwhile, the Colorado Republican Party has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn the unprecedented state Supreme Court ruling that removed Donald Trump from Colorado's 2024 ballot. The Colorado GOP was also a party in the case and is fighting to preserve its right to include Trump on its March primary ballot. Trump has not yet filed his appeal, which is expected soon. The appeal means the state court's pause on the ruling, which was set to expire on January 4th, will be indefinitely extended until the U.S. Supreme Court announces whether it will take up the appeal, and if it does, until it issues a final decision in the matter. Venezuelan president has expressed unhappiness over the deployment of British warship Royal Navy patrol vessel HMS Trent in the waters near Guyana coast. President Maduro said that this was a breach of the spirit of agreement reached between the officials of the two nations. Recently, both Guyana and Venezuela made agreements regarding the border dispute over oil-rich Essequibo territory. Earlier this month, Maduro said that he would authorize oil exploration in the Essequibo region. Now, this is a 62,000 square mile border territory around the Essequibo River, which is mostly jungle and massive oil and gas reserves, and is generally recognized as part of Guyana. Though Venezuela has the world's largest crude reserves and also has massive deposits of natural gas, its production has fallen significantly, prompting it to revive claim over the said territory. European Union flags were flown at half-mast outside the European Commission headquarters on Thursday to pay tribute to former European Commission President Jacques Delors in Brussels. Delors died at the age of 98. He was a founding father of the European Union's historic single currency project. As the President of European Commission from 1985 to 1995, Delors helped build the border-free single market, paved the way to common currency, and also oversaw the expansion of the European Union from 10 to 15 countries. Year-end holidaymakers across China were bracing for possible transport disruptions after the Weather Bureau on Friday warned that heavy fog and haze would shroud areas from Hebei province in the north to southern Shanghai for the next 24 hours. The Central Meteorological Observatory issued its first red alert for fog since 2017. Conditions were expected to improve from Saturday evening when a cold wave of air is expected to blow over the country. Dense fog is predicted in parts of Hebei, Shandong, Anhui, Jiangsu and Shanghai, leading to low visibility of less than 200 meters and less than 50 meters in some areas. Massive waves battered the coast of California on Thursday. Storms in the Pacific Ocean whipped up coastal wells that led to flooding, and evacuation orders were in place in several areas in Northern California. The National Weather Service warned these conditions are deadly and worse is yet to come. A thick layer of smog continues to cover almost all of North India, according to Indian Meteorological Department. While there is dense fog in Jammu Kashmir, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Uttar Pradesh, West Rajasthan, also moderate fog covers Delhi and surrounding areas. A red alert has been issued for dense fog in Punjab, Delhi and Haryana today, while an orange alert has been issued in these states for December 30th. In the national capital Delhi, many flights have also been delayed due to fog. As a result, which in fact has resulted in low visibility in Delhi and surrounding areas. The Met Department has predicted dense to very dense fog conditions in many parts of Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Delhi till December 30th. A quick break ahead, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. In St. Petersburg, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar engages in crucial meetings during his second leg of Russia visit. Stay with us to know the details. Also, amid full swing preparations, India's Prime Minister Modi to visit Ayodhya on December 30th to inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of multiple development projects. Celebrating rich history and culture of Kutch, the globally acclaimed Ran Utsav in Gujarat is attracting thousands of tourists.
From the much-anticipated Chandrayaan-3 mission to the transformative impact of AI, India's radiant venture into solar exploration by ISRO. Prepare for an out-of-this-world experience with its seamless transactions. It has transformed the way Indians transact.
Watch Echoes 2023 rocketing ahead at this time on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's get you more updates. India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, interacted with Governor of St. Petersburg, Alexander Beglov, in Moscow on Thursday. During his meeting, Dr. S. Jaishankar extended support to promote economic cooperation and people-to-people exchanges between India and Russia. Earlier on Thursday, the minister also interacted with prominent Indologists in St. Petersburg State University. He appreciated the initiatives and the ideas proposed by the Indologists to deepen cooperation between the two countries. During the roundtable discussion with Indologists, Dr. S. Jaishankar talked about the time-tested India-Russia relations.
This interest today is particularly pertinent, it's particularly important because in today's world, a country like India and one like Russia, we are constantly trying to refresh our relationship, to deepen it, to find new linkages and common points.
Imagine being offered a monthly wage of 1.2 lakh rupees. Yes, you heard it right. North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh's government has unveiled an opportunity that promises precisely this, but with a catch. The work location is Israel. The government has initiated an urgent call for construction workers to fill positions in building construction projects located in Israel. In previous discussions, India and Israel had mutually consented to facilitate the employment of 42,000 Indian people in Israel, with 34,000 earmarked for construction roles. The city of Ayodhya in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh is witnessing hectic activity before the inauguration of its international airport. The city is leaving no stone unturned to welcome Prime Minister, who will inaugurate the airport and further propel the place to become an international tourist destination. Ravi Dhiman gets us this report.
Ayodhya is getting ready for an important day, rather a phenomenal day when the city will get a much needed international airport and the city will get its rightful place in the pilgrimage map of India. The workers here in Ayodhya are braving the elements to deck the city and welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi and thousands of others who are coming to Ayodhya to make it indeed a memorable day in the history of this city. The weather here in Ayodhya remains misty, cloudy, but the outlook for the city remains bright and sunny. With cameraman SP Dubey, this is Ravi Dhiman in Ayodhya for DD India.
With excitement soaring high, the workers and teams involved in beautifying the holy city of Ayodhya in the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh have sped up their efforts to give the finishing touches ahead of the grand event, that is the consecration ceremony of Ram Temple, to be held on 22nd of January. Here, a team of painters is busy finishing the side walls of the highway near the international airport to be inaugurated by Prime Minister on Saturday. The paintings depict various incidents of Lord Ram's journey, mainly his return to Ayodhya after defeating Demon King Ravan along with his family and friends on Pushpak Viman, which was specially sent for this journey by the king of gods, Indra. As the second edition of Kashi Tamil Sangamam is underway in the North Indian city of Varanasi, the 7th batch of Kashi Tamil Sangamam has arrived in the city. The main aim of the Kashi Tamil Sangamam is to bring the cultural traditions of North and South India closer, to enhance the understanding of countries' shared heritage and to strengthen the relationship between the people of these regions. India's Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra is a journey being undertaken across the country. The aim is to attain saturation of flagship schemes of the government by ensuring the benefits of these schemes reach all the targeted beneficiaries in a time-bound manner. The Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra has reached Fatehpur in the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. Minister of State Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti distributed enrollment certificate to beneficiaries of several government schemes. The yatra was welcomed with tremendous enthusiasm and active participation from the local communities. Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra has emerged as a dynamic tool as it continues to traverse various parts of the districts and disseminate essential information on central government schemes. Indian Coast Guard on Thursday successfully evacuated an Indian passenger with heart ailment from Italian-flagged cruise liner. The passenger was evacuated approximately 80 nautical miles off the coast of Goa. The ICG Maritime Rescue Sub-Coordination Center of the state launched a coordinated operation soon after receiving an alert seeking medical assistance for the passenger. The cruise liner was directed to alter its course and proceed towards Goa for quick transfer of the patient to land-based medical facilities. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India. In an update on the COVID situation in India, the active cases of COVID have increased to 4,091 with 797 new cases reported in the country in the last 24 hours. 5 people have also reportedly died and 2 deaths have been reported from Kerala. The Ranotsav, presently underway in West India's Gandhinagar, is attracting thousands of tourists, both nationally and internationally. The village-themed decoration is acquainting tourists with the rich cultural heritage of Kutch. The Kutch region, particularly the Ranotsav, has generated global acclaim, rejuvenating the economy of Kutch. The last trading day of 2023 opened amidst mixed global cues. Shares in the Asia-Pacific region are trading mostly in mixed territory on Friday morning. Also, traders continue to remain positive about the US Fed starting to cut rates in 2024. The Asian markets are trading mostly higher, while the US stocks ended mixed overnight. Sensex opened 180 points lower at 72,221, while Nifty opened 56 points down at 21,722. That's it in this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and also Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.